Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 145. Andrew Eisen here, along with Zachary Knight. Hello, Zachary.
Hello, Andrew. Hello, everybody out there.
Hello, hello, hello. So, I'm trying to think of where I want to start here. Oh, I beat, I guess, Human Resource Machine. I thought I wasn't going to play any more of it, and then I just kind of was curious to see where the game was going because there's somewhat of a robot apocalypse kind of story.
Yeah.
I mean, there's about as much story in this game as there was in World of Goo, another game that I played, and I'm like, this is cute, and then I was just not really didn't feel like going in. Once I got the idea of the game, I just wasn't really compelled to keep playing, so I never finished that one. But I did finish Human Resource Machine, although there are like 2 or 3 side missions that I didn't do because I just didn't feel like it. But I actually stayed up to like 3:30 in the morning, just figuring out some of the later puzzles, and there's a thing where you have to. There's one. There are like 2 requirements or optional requirements for each thing. Is write a code that solves the puzzle with as few individual coding steps as possible, or write code that completes the task with the fewest number of actual step executions as possible. So you could write a really concise block of code that's only 20 commands, but if it takes 500 individual executions, um, then it sucks.
Yeah.
There's one in there. I think it's a sorting. Um, I think it's a sorting problem. It's like you get a string of numbers and you have to sort them largest to smallest or something like that. And there's various ways to sort. There's bubble sorting and things like that. And I picked pretty much just there are 2 ways to do it. There's concise and slow as hell, and then there's fast but fairly complicated. I went with the smaller coding block, and it's under 20 individual command lines, and I was happy with it. But it runs through it a bunch of times, so it was like
Yeah.
200 individual executions. And then I thought about how you would have to do that. I'm like, oh god, I'd have to code it the complete other way, and I'm like, I just don't wanna. you know I don't, I just don't wanna. That would be like 30 or 40 individual commands, and I just didn't want to code it with the interface that the game provides.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so I didn't 100% the game. I actually may find myself coming back to it and finishing the last couple of coding challenges because it is kind of interesting. It's always interesting solving a puzzle that has an obvious solution, but you can't do the obvious solution because your tools
You're
are
limited.
limited.
Yeah.
Um, so a
Yeah.
cute little game,
Yeah.
I'd
You,
say.
you mentioned the sorting algorithm, and it reminds me. A few years back, I came across a series of videos where somebody choreographed a dance line that demonstrated different sorting algorithms.
Oh,
And there's one where it's just you take the first number, you compare it to the second number, and you just keep going down the line until you find one that's bigger than it, and then you stop, and then you go back to the beginning, and you just keep doing that. And that
yeah.
one, I forget how many dancers there were, but they had to actually speed that one up because it took like 30 minutes to get through everybody. And it was but yeah, it was just a nice, a fun visual way of conceptualizing sorting algorithms, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, that that just popped in my head when you mentioned that. But I'd have to look those videos up again because they're pretty entertaining. But they can get kind of monotonous if you wanted to sit and watch them all. But yeah.
Legend in our chat opines that the Aladdin film is going to flop. Will Smith's creepy CGI mug is uh, one of the deciding
Unsettling.
factors.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll flop, but I think I don't think it's going to be well received critically because the movie just doesn't look very good.
Yeah, I think.
Just
Yeah,
aside from the maybe not hopefully totally complete genie effects. Although it's interesting, some of the effects are just like ooh uncanny valley, and some of them are well that looks fine.
yeah,
So maybe we've just got some early shots in the trailer.
yeah. I
But
think it's probably going to be their least successful one.
the cinematography looks flat, the performances look flat, the
Yeah,
singing, surprisingly, that I've heard is a little flat. Like literally, we were talking this, and I saw a clip of the Prince Ali segment, and I've heard Will Smith sing. He can sing, but all of his E's in the Prince Ali song are just wrong. He's Prince Ali, mighty is he. I'm like, oh, what happened here? What?
yeah. I
Why?
don't know.
Oh, oh no. And why would you release that clip? Is that the best clip of the film? Is that the clip that makes your film look the best? Because ooh, I mean
Yeah,
that's like saying the Sonic trailer is puts our film in it's in the best light. That's our best foot forward. And you're like, I mean, forget what Sonic looks like. It just doesn't look like a very good movie.
no, it doesn't. But yeah, that's yeah. I'm not looking forward to it, but I never I yeah, I'm not all that interested in the live action remakes anyways.
Yeah,
So
I've seen the cartoons, so unless
yeah,
you're doing something radically different with it, I don't much care. I mean, I'm curious enough to like check out a couple clips just to get a sense of the aesthetic choices and the actors' interpretations of the characters. But then again, you get Lion King, which has James Earl Jones again, so I imagine it's a fairly similar performance. Uh,
yeah, definitely.
But speaking of movies, we've both now seen Detective Pikachu, and the movie's title is Detective Pikachu, not Pokemon Detective Pikachu, just Detective Pikachu. Pokemon is the branding. It's kind of like back when I was talking about this on Twitter, and I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm going to say it anyway because it annoys me. Uh, Lara Croft Tomb Raider. And it's like, no, it's just Tomb Raider. Lara Croft is the character name. They put that there much like they would put a famous actor's name above the title. For example, back in '92, the name of the movie was not Schwarzenegger Terminator 2. It was just Terminator 2. Even though Schwarzenegger's name is above the title, it's not part of the title.
Yeah,
Part of the branding used to sell it to you.
yeah.
And
Unfortunately, it's like
my litmus test for that is, does it sound stupid? Then it's not part of the title. Because
yeah,
I mean, you could make the same case for it's not called Star Wars Episode One: The Phantom Menace. Is it actually? Yeah, it is. So where do you draw the line? Well, I draw the line where it sounds stupid, and Pokemon Detective Pikachu sounds stupid. So stop it. You
yeah. It does. It does. But it's listed everywhere as Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and
and everyone
yeah,
and that's actually the title card of the movie um, is not the stylized one you see on the poster where it says Detective Pikachu and it has a very similar how they wrap Star Wars around the
yeah,
title. In the on the movie poster you have like Detective Pikachu and it says Pokemon up so, it's a Pokemon thing. It's Detective Pikachu. No, it's just they use a font based on the I guess the Pokemon language or something. The title card is Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
yeah,
One thing that I thought was funny was the trailer for the Sonic movie was in front of the Detective Pikachu film, and that
yeah.
Was that Paramount's choice or was that just AMC Theaters' choice? Who has the
I
say
don't
in
know.
that? Because, man,
Yeah,
Paramount, if that
uh,
was your choice, I wouldn't.
yeah, I wouldn't have run it either. But yeah, I gotta wonder who made that choice because yeah, it was bad. It was laughed at in my theater. It's like everybody laughed at the inclusion of that trailer because you're going into this film that's been widely acclaimed for its animation of the Pokemon, and then you slap in front of it a trailer that has been highly ridiculed for its character design and animation, and it's just like, not the wisest choice there.
I have to say the modeling is great, texturing, lighting, all that stuff. Um, the animation is great. The design is great. It all falls apart anytime someone tries to actually physically interact with the Pokemon. Anytime
Yeah,
Tim picks up Pikachu or takes his hat and sets it on his head, does not look. Everything looks great until someone actually physically tries to touch a Pokemon, and that don't work at all. And
yeah,
that's a shame, but
it's a shame, but they
there are
do.
an impressive number of incredibly busy crowd shots
Oh yeah.
with just
Um,
Pokemon all over the place. So I'll cut them some slack with a few physical
well, and
interactions.
and
I'll
I will say that they limited um, people's interactions, like direct interactions
Yeah.
with Pokemon.
Most of the Pokemon are just kind of walking alongside people.
Yeah, there was one scene where Tim goes to talk to the police chief or whoever it was, and Snubble's there, and Snubble's all growling and being menacing and everything. But as Tim walks out the room, the detective or the police chief or captain, whatever, scratches Snubble's head, and then he gets all cute and like
Mhm.
type thing. And it wasn't a jarring interaction with the Pokemon, but you could definitely see that he wasn't actually touching anything in that shot. And
Yeah. Luckily, as you said, it's blocked so that the humans rarely ever actually physically interact with the Pokemon. So it's not typically a problem. But I mean, Pikachu's often catching a ride on Tim's shoulders, which looks fine until Tim actually tries to hoist him or carry him. Then it looks wrong. There's a part where he's Tim's holding Pikachu's hat and puts it on Pikachu's head that just doesn't work. Um, but that's nitpicky. That didn't hurt the movie.
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. I was a little meh on the movie.
yeah, the movie in general was a pretty straightforward kid movie.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't not like it. I was not bored or unhappy
yeah,
or annoyed. I was fine sitting through the movie, but I was just a little on the mess side throughout the. You know, one thing that really did bother me, and this is a very petty thing, but I'm very petty. The really awesome kick-ass orchestral cover of the Pokemon cartoon theme song that's teased in the trailer?
uh-huh.
That is not in the movie.
No,
And
but
I was
Pikachu
very upset.
does sing it very sadly at one scene in the movie,
Yeah, the
which is
Pikachu
entertaining.
sing the song to himself a cappella, and you do hear the cartoon theme as part of a in-universe promo. He goes to a news station, and the that theme song is used as the promo for the news station. And over the credits, there is a cover of the Pokemon game theme, the bum ba da dum da da dum, that one, and
Yeah,
it wasn't very creative. It was just kind of bland. I mean, it was nice. It was fuller and richer than you hear out of a Game Boy, of course. But
yeah,
I'm like, you could have done more with that, and so that disappointed me.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
We're trying not to get into too much spoiler territory, but it does, as Nightmare Ninja points out, it is clearly in the canonical Pokemon animated universe. So the animated films and this film are all canon together. So, that's that was a nice little nod. I like that.
Yeah,
I haven't watched too many of the animated films, but my kids like them, and so I just think that was kind of neat.
I
That
was hoping Missing Number would be in there somewhere, but
yeah,
if it is,
missing
I
no.
missed it. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I was
it
looking
might be
for
hiding in the background
yeah.
somewhere, but
I was looking for as many Pokemon as I could spot, but they didn't have um, they didn't have as many as as many that I could recognize that as I had hoped. But I will say that we got a lot of Mr. Mime in the trailers, and the extended Mr. Mime scene was great. I loved
oh,
it.
it is excellent. I
It
love that
is
scene.
it is beautifully choreographed.
Mhm.
The the uh, the interactions between Tim, Pikachu, and Mr. Mime are great, and the conclusion of the scene had my theater in stitches. It was
Oh,
great.
the conclusion of that scene is not in the trailer, and
No, it is not.
where that scene goes is really good.
It is.
Um,
It is so great. That made the entire film worth it for me. I really loved
yeah,
that.
yeah, I enjoyed the movie. There's a lot of it's a great series of moments, like the Cubone scene at the beginning of the film that Matthew and Nightmare Ninja are talking about in
Yeah.
the chat, the Mr. Mime scene, um, pretty much anything with Psyduck. I love
Yeah.
Psyduck. Uh,
Psyduck was great.
the movie itself, just so there's a lot I like about it in individual chunks, but as a whole flowing narrative, it's not bad. It works. It's just kind of, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, there were a lot of moments in the film where it just felt like they did something specifically so they could have certain Pokemon in there. And like you see the in the trailer where they're running through the mountains that are getting torn up. That seemed a little unnecessary
The
plot wise, but
what's really going on there has literally no bearing on the narrative at all.
yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is
It's
weird.
kind of a fun
It's
thing, but
mostly a set piece to funnel Tim and Pikachu to a
yeah,
certain
and it's
point,
not like it's
and
not set up. It is. It just doesn't really narratively matter.
yeah,
Uh, but there are some other narrative quibbles I have. For example, there is a hilarious scene in uh, Susan's Liz Penny
Lucy,
Lucy, thank you,
yeah,
in her amazingly small little car. They're driving to the super secret. They're driving to Area 51, and Psyduck and Pikachu are in the back, and they're listening to just some very
elevator music,
elevator
yeah.
music. Pikachu calls it spa music, and he turns to Psyduck and he says, "All right, let me get this straight. We're listening to this spa music to keep your stress levels down, so your head doesn't explode and kill us all." And that's funny. The
It is.
problem is in the first scene with Pikachu and Psyduck, he goes, "You didn't tell me she had a Psyduck. Those things get headaches and explode. They're walking bombs." So he already knows that. He already knows the answer. It doesn't make any sense that he'd say that. As funny as it was, not a good editing choice. They should have. I would have dropped the first mention of that, even though it is kind of important to give it to another character or something. Put Pikachu other because that doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah,
it doesn't ruin the movie or anything, but
no, it
little
does.
things like that are, these narrative speed bumps that kind of hurt the overall flow and cohesion of
Yeah.
the story and narrative and film.
And as Nightmare Ninja points out, that Pikachu is in a child's car
Hard
seat in the
scene,
back
yeah.
of that in the back of that car, and it's kind of funny because Psyduck's just kind of flopping around in the back seat while Pikachu is safely tucked into this car seat. And you think it would be the other way around. Psyduck needs the restraints to feel more, feel safer and more relaxed. But nope, he's just kind of flopping around in the back seat.
And I love that Psyduck is clearly guilting Pikachu into giving him a foot
A foot
massage. He's like,
massage, yeah.
you want me relaxed, man, because otherwise my head explodes. I loved, kudos to the voice actor for the because Psyduck just says Psyduck and a few,
Yeah.
kind of vocalizations, and that ah, that noise he makes when Pikachu starts rubbing his webbed feet was hilarious to me.
It was, yeah.
Like, all right, fine, I'll massage your damn feet, hand it over. He's like, Psyduck.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that was good.
A lot of really great stuff. What did you think of Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu? Me personally, I thought it was a little too Ryan Reynoldsy and just a little
Yeah,
too much Ryan Reynolds.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I
Like
think
I
that
would have
would.
dialed it back by like the frequency by like 5%.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't distractingly Ryan Reynolds, but
No,
it
but
was just kind of a. It didn't. It didn't sell me on the performance. He does a great job. He does. He performs to the best of his the best of his
yeah,
ability, and he does a good job. It just doesn't feel like the voice you would think would come out of a Pikachu. And
I really
I'm not
may.
expecting a high pitched Pikachu type voice out of from an actual speaking role, but
Mhm.
something a little more childlike, but less less Ryan Reynolds, I guess. But
Yeah, well, let's see what I'm trying to think of if I'm like just kind of biased because I know what the character sounds like in both the English and Japanese version of the game,
hmm
and in the game, uh, the voice they go for Detective Pikachu is the archetypical gumshoe private dick kind of
yeah,
voice. I saw the dame, wander into my office, and I knew she'd be trouble. That kind of a voice. And Ryan Reynolds, he's a baritone, but he wasn't really doing
yeah, he
that
wasn't
gumshoe
trying. Yeah,
voice, that PI voice. He was just pretty much doing his voice, which is fine. It's a lovely voice, but I
yeah.
mean, I didn't need a flat out Humphrey Bogart impression or anything. I mean, the actors in the game don't do that either, but it's that style of voice, and I.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm biased to that. I just think that's the correct decision for that character. Still, the contrast between whatever her name is, Otani, starts with an I, who does the Pikachu's voice, and the baritone male register coming out of Pikachu. That juxtaposition is still there, and it's still hilarious. But
Yeah.
I just think that nearly stereotypical private gumshoe type of cadence and delivery is really what that character's calling out for.
Yeah, and no knock to Ryan Reynolds, but uh, he's just never he's never been in a role to do something like that. He's always been Ryan Reynolds in everything he's done, from Deadpool to Hal Jordan to
Hmm.
whatever else he's been in.
He doesn't do voices.
Yeah,
Maybe he's really bad at it, and it's good that he did.
maybe.
Maybe they
Yeah.
tried and it sucked, so they said, "No, just do your
Just be
regular
yourself. Yeah.
Ike
Uh,
Otani." Okay, thank you, Ninja.
yeah, and as much as I would have loved to have seen, heard Danny DeVito speaking, in Pikachu. I get that. I get that fan love for that combination, but
Mhm.
it just wouldn't have worked narratively, I don't think. But
Something Ninja said earlier, whatever you think of the story, it's clear the showrunners understood Pokemon, the IP. Yeah, there was obvious.
yeah,
I think that's now there's no magic formula of success, of course, but I think one thing in adaptation of an existing property that is very important is a genuine love for the source material, which I think is why a lot of the Marvel and some of the more recent DC movies have been so successful, is because it's clear that the creators care about and genuinely like the IP they're adapting into a movie. Same thing with Detective Pikachu. It's clear that the people making this movie really love that world
yeah,
and respect it. They don't think it's stupid. They're not being no. Something else that our chat mentioned was they do knowingly joke about the really weird Pokedex entry for Cubone, and they mention that out loud in the movie. And if
yeah.
and it's for those of us who knows that that's actually the backstory of Cubone, that's it's like yeah, we always thought that was weird. um,
Yeah, it is, and they lean into that kind of stuff, and and let's see, what was another
Oh
instance of
God,
this?
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you because
Yeah,
Ninja's hitting the nail on the head here. It's not the Pokemon. The movie wasn't a Pokemon coming to our world through a portal or some crap, which is the conceit that I see in so many,
yeah, like
including apparently the upcoming Monster Hunter movie,
yeah,
which
the Monster Hunter
like
movie,
hell at
Sonic, and tons of
Masters of
other
the
video
Universe.
games.
I know it's cheaper to do it that way, but stop it.
Yeah, but yeah, this one it's very clearly the Pokemon world, and that's what's great, and I also like the fact that it didn't focus on the Pokemon trainer aspect, like what the video games are about, what the anime is about. Where young boy goes off to wander the world and force monsters to fight to the faint. Um, they don't focus on that, but they do have the they do focus they do have a conceit of everybody typically has a Pokemon partner. Like, everybody basically has a pet Pokemon, and you're seen as odd if you don't have a pet Pokemon and or a Pokemon partner, as they call it. And that was one of the things with Tim, and the scene with the Cubone is his friends trying to help him find a Pokemon partner, and
Yeah.
it's
Cubone's perfect for you. A lonely, emotional wreck. Oh, thank you.
yeah, Matthew, we mentioned that it's the film is clearly canonical, and they make that very clear in the film that that it's a shared universe with the at least the anime, if not the video games as well. So
Were there any Pokemon designs that you didn't care for? I'll give you mine. Gengar. Gengar looked wrong to me. Looked neat, but just looked wrong.
I think it was just kind of the introduction to him. It was just because he was so we see Gengar in a battle with a Blastoise, which was
Mhm.
kind of weird in and of itself, just because. Um, but Gengar was very much smoky and not really as corporeal as you would the games and everything make it look. So yeah, it was a very odd one.
It's just that
Um,
the other characters are just so on model. This one
yeah,
took a lot of liberties, and I don't just mean it's corporealness.
Yeah,
I mean, basically the shape and design of its face, it just looked. I could still tell it was Gengar, but
yeah,
it's like this one just doesn't quite look right to me.
yeah. I don't know. I didn't really get any that were just kind of
That was really
off
the
to
only
me,
one.
but yeah, the the sheer size of Gyarados was kind of strange because I never really pictured Gyarados as being 30 foot tall, and that's how it came out to be, and
Like
which is kind of crazy to think. Just imagine coming across a
it's like
whale
you're
murder
permanently
or
stuck
a
in
whale
a
lord.
building.
Yeah, because whale lord is
It's a whale.
supposedly bigger than a blue whale, and that would be
That's
kind of
something I was
crazy.
wondering because you see some of the bigger ones like Machamp and Snorlax, and
Yeah,
but
seeing Snorlax just asleep in the middle of the
just middle of
intersection
the
was
road,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah,
You just the society just understands Snorlax is something you got to work around. If
yeah,
people,
and
Snorlax decides to take a nap in front of the entryway to your building, you call him to work. There's a Snorlax sleeping in front of the door. There's just nothing I can do.
yeah,
Um, I was kind of wondering about some of the much larger Pokemon, and I was thinking, well, most of the really huge ones are like legendaries and stuff, but there are some really, really big ones. And I think the Magikarp evolution,
Gyarados. Yeah,
Gyarados, is probably the largest one we see in the film.
yeah, it is. It is. I don't think there was. I'm trying to think. There was a shot Pokemon trainer battle. Early in the film, and it was
That's right.
something versus a Gyarados, and I forget what
She
the
had
other.
a Gyarados and something else standing next to her, and I don't remember
Yeah,
what.
I don't remember what it was, but
Was
yeah,
it the flaming unicorn pony one?
um,
I can't remember.
Rapidash,
Rapidash.
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
can't.
yeah, I can't remember. There weren't any other really big Pokemon in there, and I think that was probably for the best because
Yeah.
man, that would have been crazy. But I think the only one that I really found kind of. Yeah, and I think this was more on the CGI, but at the very beginning, the film with all the Pidgeots flying through
On
the
it,
air.
one I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, but all the Pidgeots that were flying through the air just looked really fake and like more fake than the rest of the Pokemon. But
There was another. It's not a Pidgeot, but it's one of the flying ones that had a purse in its beak. And I'm like, dude, that Pokemon just straight up robbed someone. But
I
it
think
turns
it was
out
it looked like it was a delivery or something, like
it
it was
turned
delivering
into
something.
someone
Yeah,
who, for some reason, is standing on top of a crane. I'm like, did someone crawl up a crane, drop their purse, and have to send a Pokemon down to get it? But
yeah,
what did we think of Ditto? Yeah, I thought Ditto was appropriately creepy, especially when it was mimicking other, when it was taking other forms and had the beady eyes. I thought that was well.
yeah. Braviary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
I haven't.
had the. One thing I thought I would have liked it. One thing that really worked for me when the film went a little dark, like the film opens with the Mewtwo secret lab explosion, car crash, that whole thing.
Yeah,
And early in the movie, you have the Apom attack, and then later in the film, you get the Greninja attack. And I'm sticking to stuff that's actually in the trailers. And when this movie, what I like is that there's an actual sense of danger.
yeah,
I think some of it is a little undercut by Ryan Reynolds' constant quipping, especially during the Apom attack. Again, pulling back on that a little bit and having the not being afraid to stay in that tone, because even the Mr. Mime scene, as Pikachu points out, well, that's going dark. Um, it can still be fun. I thought that was the stuff
yeah.
that actually worked best. Like
Yeah,
fart and pee jokes. I'm like, didn't need
yeah, that didn't work. But yeah, there is a sense of danger, and especially when it comes to things like
when the
you know,
Pokemon freak out. They're
like
kind of
the
scary.
yeah, like the Greninja attack. Okay, so
It's
the
like
Greninjas
Gremlins. It's really
chase.
threatening.
Yeah, but
It's
the
fun.
Greninjas they chase saw Tim and Lucy and them, but they're literally lobbing grenades. Their attack is like somebody chasing them and lobbing grenades at them as they're chasing them, and it's it would be pretty darn terrifying to live in a world like that. In the Charizard battle, okay, so they're fighting Pokemon in the middle of this arena, and it's just chain link fence around it, and people are up against the chain link fence, nothing else between them and the Pokemon, and it's like,
I'm not holding on to that chain link fence. That's an electric type.
yeah. But yeah, it can be pretty. I could definitely see it being very terrifying to live in that world.
It'd be funny
Yeah,
if, like during the fights with water type Pokemon, like Blastoise, if you saw the people all had like trash bags, like they're at a SeaWorld splash zone or a Gallagher show or something like that.
yeah. Oh, one thing that this isn't spoilery or anything, but I absolutely loved where they're doing the infomercial type introduction to Rhyme City and how Pokemon are working with humans, and they show a shot of firefighters putting out a fire, and there's little Squirtles there, and it's just kind of hilarious to see the Squirtles next. So this guy firefighter has this high-powered, high-pressure hose putting out these flames, and the Squirtles are there, and they're just all bleh, fire or water on there, and it's
Mhm.
not very high pressure. It's not it's not like what
Like
you
a
see in
garden
the anime and stuff, but yeah, it's like a garden hose, and then one Squirtle kind of falls backwards like it's kind of tired, tuckered out, but it's it's cute and funny, and I like that.
So, it's I'll be interested. I think it's definitely going to get a sequel. I don't know if they need to do more Detective Pikachu or if they could focus on Psyduck or if
I don't. I would like to see other stories
yeah,
in the Pokemon world. I don't think we need to
the world.
return to Tim and company, but definitely other. There's this is like Star Wars. Okay, there's an entire universe or entire galaxy of other characters, other things that you could tell stories about. Stop focusing on the Skywalkers. I think this one, if they try to keep these films focused around Tim and company, it's going to be a little annoying after a while. I think they could definitely expand outside and do other cool things.
Okay, here's my pitch for the new Detective Pikachu movie. It's not going to be Detective Pikachu. It's going to be a Team Rocket movie.
That would actually be kind of cool. Yeah.
Because Meowth can talk for whatever damn reason.
Because he learned to talk instead of learning Payday, the signature Meowth move.
Oh,
Um,
is that the explanation behind it?
yeah, that's the explanation. He
I
wanted.
didn't know they ever actually explained that it was just a because
Yeah, I do remember seeing an episode where he kind of explains his backstory, and I forget the exact reason, but he was trying to impress somebody. I think it might have been Giovanni or somebody, but he learned to talk, and because of that, he couldn't learn Payday. And
Nightmare Ninja says the
oh, a
writers
female Meowth. Okay.
want to do a Jigglypuff movie, and I my first thought is why, and then my second thought is music biopic, like that thing you do or Bohemian Rhapsody or A Star Is Born or something like that, just with Jigglypuff. That could be awesome. No, seriously, think about it. Like a Jigglypuff that's trying to make it big on the stage, but everyone keeps falling asleep, and that could be really great. Just follow the template of I mean, A Star Is Born just came out in the last year. It got an Oscar nomination for Best Music or something. It's fresh in people's mind. People love that kind of stuff. They just did Bohemian Rhapsody. They're doing the Elton
They're
John
doing Rocket Man.
Rocket
Yeah,
Man. That's that's actually not a bad idea. I think
yeah,
the writers are onto something there. But I think a Team Rocket movie could also be just a lot of fun.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot that you
He
can.
traded his high level moves to learn to talk to impress a female. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
A Star
Uh,
Is Bored. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's Detective Pikachu. Um, it's definitely a good video game film. It's a fun watch. Um, I I was hoping for a better movie, but it's still an enjoyable sit.
It is. It is. And if you got kids who love Pokemon, they're gonna love it. I took my son, and it was my son's birthday was a few weeks back, and we planned his actual birthday party to so that we could take him and his friends to Detective Pikachu, and so they all enjoyed it. They all liked it. So
Hmm.
yeah,
All right, so let us move on to what is it called? Minecraft Earth? Is that what it's called? Yeah,
yep.
Minecraft
Minecraft Earth.
Earth. Okay, so Microsoft, I guess, debuted the trailer for Minecraft Earth this week, which is the mobile app version of Minecraft. So they released a 90-second trailer, and in my ever so humble but completely correct opinion, it is the worst video game trailer in the history of video game trailers. That's not,
Yeah,
it's just, but it is, I think, unquestionably a bad video game trailer because unless I'm just dense, which is completely possible, I watched the trailer for this video game, this mobile app, and I came off of it having absolutely no idea how this game actually plays. None.
yeah. That's where I felt as well, because like you look back at 3 years ago when we watched the first trailers for Pokemon Go,
Mhm.
another augmented reality mobile game, and you got just from the first trailer you get a good idea of how the game is going to play. Where you use your phone to flick Pokeballs at Pokemon. You gather together to catch big Pokemon, and that sort of thing. And you get a feel, even though you don't see a whole lot of gameplay in the original Pokemon Go trailer, you still get a good feel of
But
how
you
the game
still
is
get
going
the
to
sense that,
play.
oh, okay, so we're using augment. We're gonna walk around. We see a Pokemon. We flick a Pokeball at it. We catch the Pokemon. Okay,
Yeah,
I get that. That makes sense. This one has
you walk
someone walking
around.
down the street, and I guess you just it, it looks like a Snapchat filter. Apparently, it's just overlaying Minecraft looking trees over your trees and Minecraft dogs over actual dogs, and I guess
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
actually do know how this plays because I read an article on Polygon that completely spells out, but I'm just talking about the trailer. Looking at the trailer,
yeah,
you have to completely guess what this game does.
yeah, because the trailer, all it does is it makes it look like Minecraft stuff is in real life. That like you said, a Snapchat filter. There's a feature in Pokemon Go where um, you can you can look at a Pokemon that you've caught, and there's a camera button there, and basically it just overlays that Pokemon on on your camera, and you can take a picture and make it look like you're holding a Pikachu or whatever.
About to stomp
Um,
Magikarp to death.
or yeah, but
Or
but
a Club Cube owner. Ah.
yeah, but yeah, with this one, that's all this looks like, and yeah, there's no sense at all what the game is, and yeah, I don't,
So it
I
fails as a trailer in that respect, but there was one more thing that I found. incredibly weird, and I have to replay the trailer for myself. So she goes back home and she finds her dad, I guess, in the driveway, apparently cleaning out the garage. And he says,
Yeah.
"So, what do you think?" And she says, "Not bad." And the father says, "Not bad is good." That is the weirdest denouement for a video game trailer. Eh, You seriously, you ended your video game trailer with, it's not bad. That's the messaging? That's what you want me to take away? Minecraft Earth. It's
It's
not
not
bad.
bad.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. It is a weird juxtaposition. Um, and there's some cute little moments in the trailer, like
Like standing at
she
the crosswalk next to a, it's not a
uh,
creeper, but
an
something else.
Enderman. Yeah, it's an Enderman. She's standing next to it, and then she kind of takes a step to the side away from it.
Hmm.
That was cute. There was a scene where she was going by a food truck, and there's a bunch of chickens around, and they're cocking their head, and so she cocks her head, and the food truck lady just kind of what, but little things like that were kind of cute, but. Yeah, overall, it's just a pretty lame trailer.
Yeah, I feel that a video game trailer should communicate. I feel that anyone watching a trailer for a video game should come away understanding what the game is and how you play it. I feel that if you watch a video game trailer and you genuinely have no earthly clue what the game is or how it plays, then the producers or whoever completely failed.
Kind of like that Kojima game with I
Uh,
forget what it.
Death Stranding?
Yeah, Death Stranding. The first 3 years or whatever of anything we got about that game was just how is this a game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I I mean the trailers were a lot of times neat, a lot of times beautiful, a lot of times fun and funny and action packed and entertaining. But at the end of the trailer, if I'm still saying, okay, that's great, but what's the game? I still feel that it's a
yeah,
failure. I
and
mean, I have a better idea of how Metroid Prime 4 plays. I have foreplay. I have a better idea of how Bayonetta 3 play. They are totally going to use a foreplay gag for Bayonetta 4 in the advertising. They, they have to.
yeah, yeah,
And you better give me money, whoever does that. I have a better idea of how these games play, and we haven't seen any footage from them yet.
yeah, exactly.
Granted, they're entries in existing
Yeah,
franchises, but so is
but,
Minecraft.
but Addicted to Chaos has a great line. It's that should be the tagline for all things Microsoft now. It's
Eh,
not bad.
uh, Windows 10. It's not
It's
bad.
not. Oh man.
Microsoft HoloLens. It's completely dead.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
because I remember, God, 5 years ago, whenever they were demoing HoloLens, it was kind of neat. I mean, at least the stage demo that they had for that, I understood what it was, what they were doing.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a stage presentation and not a commercial, but um, it, bad commercial, Microsoft. Just
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty bad. Well, and their website doesn't explain it all that much either. So you've got at the beginning you got the trailer, you got their sign up now so you can get possibly get early access to this thing, and then you have 4 blocks of short text: create, collect, collaborate, and explore. And just like two sentences for each of these things. And for example, under create, it says Minecraft has always been a game about creativity, but Minecraft Earth gives you the chance to express yourself on a whole new scale, share your masterpieces, and delve into others' creations. That doesn't tell me what the game is. That just basically tells me what Minecraft is. And it's like, how does this change what Minecraft is?
Yeah.
Because I can express myself in Minecraft. I can share my masterpieces with other people in Minecraft.
Yeah.
How does this change that?
Now,
How does it make it better?
I, as a fairly well-rounded gamer, I know mobile games, I know Minecraft, so I can probably fairly accurately guess what the game must do, but I'm also a lazy gamer. Don't make me work. I'm a couch gamer. I don't want to work. I
Yeah.
want you to. It's why I don't like Super Mario Maker, because I don't want to build the levels myself. You build the levels, and then I will play them. I
Yeah.
want to be spoon-fed all the information. So, but if you
Yeah.
want to know how Minecraft Earth works, Polygon has I think it was Polygon. They have a full breakdown of what the entire app is and does, and it's pretty much what you'd expect. You walk
Yeah.
around, you find resource blocks, blocks of sand or wood or whatever, and you collect resources, and then you can build Minecraft stuff and put them places, and then other people can interact with it and destroy it or rebuild on it. But you always have your thing saved that you can plop wherever you want. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, it's pretty much what you'd expect, but still bad trailer because it's like I read Polygon or whoever's article.
Yeah, it's
Like,
Polygon has a really in-depth
yeah.
article
And
on
I was
this.
like, great. But none of that is communicated in the trailer
Or the website.
or the website. So, anyway, uh, moving on. Nintendo had speaking of Super Mario Maker, Nintendo had a Super Mario Maker 2 Nintendo Direct this week. And
Oh, I
it's
missed that.
nice.
I'll have to catch up.
Oh, well, it was nice. It looks good. It has a story mode. The last game did have a single player component, but this one actually has a dedicated story mode, which I actually find more interesting. Probably still not going to get the game, although I'm kind of thinking that a Super Mario Maker 2 might make for some fun times during the charity event this fall. So
So,
thinking about some stuff I might do because there's some multiplayer stuff. There you can play other people's levels. You can cooperatively build stuff. I still have to think about it, but it's pretty neat.
yeah.
But what I really
Well,
want,
one of the just a quick side note. One of the things that people really wanted in the first Super Mario Maker was the ability to string levels, because as from what I understood, it was just you download a single level and you play it, and that's it. But a lot of people wanted to make a series of levels so they could make a
essentially there was
full
Mario.
game.
Right.
Yeah, and so they finish one level, they go directly to the next, and so on. But it didn't allow for that. So that seems like what story mode is that the ability to actually do that
Well,
now.
story mode in this game is Peach's castle is gone, so you have to play
Okay, so this is
pre-made
a
pre-made stages
yeah.
to collect coins to fund the rebuilding of Peach's castle.
Hmm.
Where
So
she's
this is
staying in
more
the
of
meantime,
a
I don't know. She's probably at a Holiday
yeah.
Inn somewhere.
Okay. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, okay.
Matthew says the 100 Nintendo levels from the first game is the least interesting part of Mario. Oh, I'm sorry. The part two's 100 levels is the least interesting part of the game. Do I want to play the wild levels that players make? Yeah. Um,
Well, yeah, and that's kind
I
of the
just
whole
have
point
very
of
little
the
interest
thing.
in the editor myself. Um, I'm just not like I'm just not a build your own toys kind of person. I'm like, well, you should, if I'm designing and creating the levels, you should pay me. Yes, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna. pay you for the privilege. But what I did want to talk about was Nintendo's new voucher program, which they debuted during the direct. And the voucher program is kind of interesting. So, um, you from now until I think July 31st, Nintendo Switch Online subscribers can purchase a voucher for $99.99, which will entitle them to two Nintendo Switch games of a uh, ones that apply anyway.
Yeah,
And since
select
Nintendo Switch games typically cost $59.99, you're ostensibly potentially saving
$20.
19.99, so $20. And I have to say, I would. My first thought was, uh, of course, it's going to be like 8 games. Yeah. But to be fair, there's a lot of games. So it's Super Mario Maker 2, which isn't even out yet. Breath of the Wild 1-2 Switch, which no one cares about, except those who do. Kart 8 Deluxe, ARMS, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, Bayonetta 2, Sushi Striker, which is $50. Are you kidding me?
Well, Bayonetta 2 is, or 1-2 Switch is $50, which is ridiculous. That should
Yeah,
be no more than
all of them
20.
are either $60 or $50. But Fitness Boxing is on here. Dragon, but there's a couple ones
Hyrule
you might not
Warriors is
expect,
on
like
there.
Dragon Quest Builders is
Yeah,
on there.
and that one's 50. So yeah, that's
Yeah. But it's got a pretty decent selection of at least Nintendo published titles. Um, here,
I'm of the opinion that if don't waste your voucher. If you're going to get this voucher, don't waste it on any of the $50 titles. Just buy that
yeah, yeah.
and
Well,
use it on a $60 title and save
Well,
$10.
one of the if you read the fine print, one of the interesting restrictions is you have to, one of the two games that you use your voucher on has to be $59.99. So you couldn't get Sushi Striker and Fitness Boxing because they're both $50.
That is an interesting
And
restriction.
I'm like, I guess they just want to make sure that people don't accidentally rip themselves off and get mad at Nintendo for their own. It's like, hey, wait a minute, I didn't save any money at all. Your own damn fault. So they're kind of making you do that. The other thing I find kind of odd is you have to be a subscriber to the Switch Nintendo Online thingy in order to purchase a voucher to save $20. So for me, I would have to spend $20 to get a subscription so that I could buy $100 voucher to save $20. Um,
That is, yeah, I didn't even think about that when I read about this because that that just kind of makes the whole thing pointless to begin with.
which is a
It's like,
little, well, I mean, I talked to this with Matthew on Twitter a couple days ago, and Matthew, for example, already is a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber, and he uses it for Splatoon and probably upcoming Mario Maker. So it's something, if you already have it, oh, okay, that makes sense. But
yeah,
the other interesting thing is, not only does this voucher promotion end in July 31st, but the voucher that you buy has to be redeemed within 1 year of its purchase.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
when you buy a voucher, so it's not like you can just buy a bunch of them now. No, if you buy two vouchers, for example, there better be 4 games coming out in the next year that you really want, or at least
Mhm.
available for pre-order within the next year that you really want, to be able to actually save some money on this. Um, Also, that's ignoring the fact that a lot of these titles you could just find a little bit cheaper on Amazon or somewhere else. Granted,
Yeah,
Nintendo rarely ever drops its price, so a lot of these games um, are still $59.99 on Amazon. So if you
yeah,
don't want to buy,
and the other issue that I have with this is that the vouchers are only good for the digital versions of the games.
yeah, which is another
So
issue because the Switch isn't known for its storage space, and even though the dock has USB ports, you can't use an external hard drive. You just have to get a bigger micro SD card,
Yeah,
which
and
is conveniently located under the damn kickstand, I think. Is that where it
yeah,
is?
but
Let me double check. I think that's where it is.
yeah,
Yeah, it's under it's conveniently located here.
yeah. So my thought is, it's like, why would I save $10 and get a digital copy that's going to fill up my entire Switch storage space just for one game
Mhm.
when I could just go to Walmart and buy that same game physically and be able to have the little sour tasting cartridge.
Yeah. Micro SD cards are cheap. If not the big ones, the really big ones are still pretty. Like if you're going 256, they're still fairly expensive. Um,
Yeah, once you get past 64 gigs, you're
I mean,
into
the Switch is what, like 32 minus whatever the OS takes up. And to answer your question, Matthew, who has a Switch but no SD card? I don't, because
yeah,
one, I buy all physical games, and two, there's just not a ton on the Switch that appeals to me. I have like a grand total of 6 games, I think. Um, well, I guess 7
yeah,
if you count Senran Kagura Reflections, which I bought for the charity stream. That was money
yeah.
well spent. It was good for a larf.
Yeah.
128 gigs for 20 bucks. That's not too bad.
Oh, that's not too
But
bad.
again,
Yeah.
um, if you have to pay 20 bucks for a subscription and another 20 bucks for some extra space just to save 20 bucks on 2 games that you might be able to get cheaper elsewhere, and you have to do it within a particular time frame and it's limited to particular titles, it's just kind of a weird, very niche promotion,
Yeah,
you know?
I think, if it were a 3 games, this would have been a pretty sweet deal.
Hmm.
For $99, you get your pick of 3 games, and that makes it $33.33 per game. Um, but that would have been really, really awesome deal.
I mean,
Or even just
it's
$120 for 3 games. You're getting buy two get one free basically
yeah.
at that
I
point.
was talking to a bunch of people online about this a few days ago because I was snarking on it. I don't hate it. I don't think Nintendo's stupid. I just think it's kind of funny because it has so many restrictions and caveats. But so it's like if you're a big Nintendo fan and you get lots of Nintendo published games, like multiple Nintendo published games a year, and you don't you're not the kind of person who's going to really just sit around for a year or two like I do and wait for them to drop in price, and you're
Which Nintendo games rarely do.
yeah, and you're mostly a digital person who already has new SD cards because you're just a digital person, digital gamer, and you already have the Nintendo Online subscription because you play Mario Kart and Splatoon and the upcoming Mario Maker. Then, yeah, it's a fine deal. But I don't have a subscription to Nintendo's online service. Um, I don't have an extra micro SD card to put. I'd have to buy one because one of these games would probably take up all the space on the Switch.
Yeah.
Um, I don't do digital
Except for one
games.
to Switch, that one would probably
Yeah,
take up like six
or
gigs.
fitness boxing. I I uh, I don't do digital games. I do physical unless I can't get it physically, and there's just not a ton on the Switch that appeals to me. So for me, this promotion is yeah, I mean, if it was something that didn't expire, I'd say, yeah, there'd probably be 2 games over the course of the Switch's life that I'd want. But, you know, I can only buy a voucher up until July 31st, and then I'd have to redeem it by the next July 31st. I mean, if I bought and if you actually you don't quite have a year from when you buy the voucher. If you buy the voucher here, you have until your subscription expires, because then you're going to have to pay another $20 to renew your subscription, then cash in your voucher to save $20 on that, you know. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of a funny promotion. I thought the more I read into the the fine print on this, the more I just kind of chuckled at it, because I thought it was kind of
Yeah, it's a very Nintendo thing to do,
it's very
and
Nintendo.
yeah,
Chaos asks, "Am I going to get Astral Chain?" And I love that name. Um, uh, Probably. It looks cool. It's from Platinum Games. I mean, that's it looks pretty cool. I can't say for certain, but odds are high. It's definitely a game I'm looking forward to learning more about.
yeah. Okay.
It looks cool, and Platinum Games rarely ever steers me wrong. So, all right. Lastly, let's talk about Epic Game Store, because Epic seems to it's been in the news quite frequently lately, with it procuring, uh, throwing bags of cash around to procure exclusives, games that are available only on the Epic Game Store. Um, and it's most recently decided we're going to have a big sale to compete with like the Steam sales. And what we're going to do is another thing that Epic's doing is it has the revenue split is a lot more attractive
Yeah,
on Epic than it is on.
12,
Yeah, it
12 to 88. Yeah,
something.
is the split something like that?
Most recently, Epic says we're gonna do a sale, and everything that's at least $15 is everything $14.99 or greater is $10 off. And as an extra twist, um, we Epic are eating the cost. The developer still gets the full price of their game, so if the developer is selling a game for $14.99, you only pay $4.99, but the developer still gets the $14.99 because we're just eating the cost.
Yeah.
And what this shows to me, and I'm right, um, and very humble too, uh, is that Epic is not interested in competing in the digital game space, in the digital sales platform space. It's not interested in competing by offering a superior product. It's throwing money. It's interested in just buying outspending
Yeah,
uh, Valve and everyone else. It's interested in being
it's
Walmart or Amazon. You
yeah,
know, I mean,
it,
like how Amazon will um, target a business that sells shoes, and so Amazon will like severely discount all of its shoes so that everyone buys shoes at Amazon instead of Shoes R Us, and then Shoes R Us loses all its business and sells, and Amazon buys Shoes R Us and then eliminates it. Now that's I don't I'm Amazon has done stuff like that before. I don't have any specific examples.
yeah,
So you'll have to trust me on this one. Would I lead you astray? And it looks like Epic's
um,
doing the same thing,
yeah,
buying exclusives and doing the sale thing. And a lot of publishers really don't like this because of the devaluation of their games. In fact, Blood something two. The what's the vampire game? Blood Rain, not Blood Rain.
Bloodborne,
Bloodlines. Blood Masquerade
Bloodlines. Yeah,
Vampire.
Masquerade Bloodline.
Thank you. The sequel that's not
Yeah,
out yet has that $10 discount, and the company behind it was like, no, no, you're not devaluing our game like that. So they pulled it off the store. Some other publishers have jacked up the price of their game, so so that the discount takes it back down to what it was supposed
where it was
to be at in
before.
the first
Yeah,
place. Because a lot of the publishers are super concerned about devaluing their game.
yeah,
And the other
especially
thing is Epic
because
didn't consult any of the it's just something they apparently just decided to do, because this broadsided a lot of publishers. They're like, we had no idea this was coming.
yeah, and what it looks like is that so a game developer that I follow, Lars Doucet, he
That
once
the Luftwaffe or the plane one? Which developer is that? What?
no, he does he made a Defender's Quest, a tower defense RPG.
Oh,
Um, so, but he wrote an article back when Epic Game Store first came out, or was announced or whatever, and it was just basically, the article title was, so you want to compete with Steam, and he went through what he considers, the building blocks of what would make a great store. And one of the things is, you gotta have games on your store, which means you have to do something that appeals to developers and publishers.
hmm
And Epic did that with their 12% cut.
revenue.
And they're also, throwing money at developers for
For
exclusivity deals.
your exclusives, right? Which
Yeah,
is understandable for especially smaller studios and indies.
yeah,
Um, Someone like Square Enix, the better revenue cut isn't as valuable as the broader player base that Steam
yeah,
currently offers.
yeah, and
So
and
I don't
that's
begrudge any smaller developers and indies who go to Epic because it's just good business sense
Yeah,
at this
but
point.
and that leads into the one of the second uh, key element to this, and I think he had 4 or 5 elements to it, but the two that I'm focusing on here is, getting developers on there, and then getting gamers on there. And one of the ways that to get gamers is to have games they want. And these exclusivity deals are one element of this, because if the only place to get that game that you really want is on the Epic Store, you're going to have to sign up and go to Epic, and that's made a lot of people upset and frustrated, especially people who have an extensive Steam library and invested a lot of time in that. But the sale seems more geared towards attracting uh, gamers,
hmm
potential customers, than it is in fostering a good relationship with the publishers. Hence the lack of communication, and that's where I think the problem is that Epic is just kind of swinging wildly back and forth. It's like, oh, we don't have enough customers. Throw a quick sale out there, you know that well, let's do that. And oh crap, we forgot to tell our publishing partners, so oopsie daisy.
I
And
browsed the Epic Game Store, but from what I've heard,
it's a pretty terrible
yeah,
experience.
that's what I hear. It's not a good service. Epic is just throwing its and 10 cents money around in order to. It's doing like the mafia stuff to make sure it's the only game in town. It's trying to squeeze out the competition
Yeah,
rather than
and
create a competitive service.
yeah,
Like
and
it
and
doesn't
in one of the
really care if
articles,
you like it. It wants to make sure you're the only place you can get it.
yeah, and one of the articles that I read, somebody actually commented on there, and they're like, they said, they described their experience because they heard about the sale, and so they wanted to see if a game that they were looking for was on sale on Epic, the Epic Store, but they couldn't find that game using Epic's website.
hmm
But they went to Google and searched the game on Google and found a link to Epic's website where they found out that it was on sale. And the person was just, that is bad for Epic. If you have to go to a third party in order to search your website, you're doing it wrong. you know, and this isn't even something that's that difficult, because Google has a really really feature rich API that you can tap into to embed a Google search into your website, that is, and you can theme it to match your website. Yeah, it's not something that is that difficult to do. I've done it in the past, and why Epic hasn't done hasn't made Discovery that big of they haven't chased Discovery and focused on that at all yet on their website.
Yeah, they, as I said, they seem to be focused on buying success rather than earning it.
Yeah.
So, capitalism. But as an idealist young middle-aged man, um, I think that the comp when companies are I think the companies that are successful should be. How do I want to phrase this? I think um, the company that offers the best service should be the company that's most successful, not the company that has the most money to throw around.
Yeah, and and that doesn't always happen because sometimes you get into
Capitalism.
you get into those situations where the people with the best or the company with the best service just can't compete,
Yeah.
and on financially wise, it's like
Mhm.
they can't throw that much money around, and
Right.
it's
It's
sad to
that
see
whole
that happen.
it's that whole thing I mentioned about Amazon, where they will target a business and they will eat the profits for shoes or whatever, and choke
Yeah,
that other business out of existence, buy them and kill them, just so they don't have to compete. And that's not good for the customer, because then the companies have no incentive to offer a better service,
yeah,
because if you have no choice, it's like, yeah, it's us or the highway. Yeah. And
yeah.
also, of course, Epic apparently is like uh, crunch killing its employees. So that's not good either.
Definitely not. But that's where we are. And I'm not against anybody trying to compete with Steam. I think it's
Oh,
great. We need more
but
we
I'd love
need
it
more
if they tried to
competition.
compete with a good service.
Yeah.
And I don't mind them using the monetary resources to try and attract attention and deals and exclusive. That's fine. But so far as what I've seen, and to say this, I really should browse the Epic Game Store myself to see how it works. But from what I've heard, they're not interested in competing on merit. Like they're not interested in, we're going to create a better service for gamers. It's like, no, we're just gonna buy everyone out.
Yeah.
So we're the
Exactly.
only game in town. It's like, well, that's super effective, but also
Yeah.
gross.
Oh,
So, and I think that's it for our podcast. We
yeah.
actually hit all the topics. That's good.
Yeah.
Half the
Definitely
time we make
is.
it halfway through, because we don't even start hitting our topics, because we go blah blah about everything, about movies and stuff, before we even hit our topic. Valve should reduce their revenue split. No one talks about that. Uh,
Everybody talks about that, but
it'll be interesting to. So far, Valve's reaction has been seemingly just not to react. Like, it doesn't consider Epic a genuine threat, at least not yet. Because I've seen Valve do literally nothing. It
yeah,
seems to be
yeah,
taking kind of a
they're
wait and see approach so far.
yeah,
But
yeah,
then
they're
again, as we've talked on the podcast, Valve's modus operandi most of the time seems to be, don't make us actually do any work. We don't actually,
yeah,
we don't want to make games or curate content, or we don't actually want to actually work. We set up Steam, money rolls in, don't make us do anything. It'll be interesting to see if Steam ever actually does anything,
yeah, they
because
might.
Epic's gonna back it into a corner and either eat it or or Steam Valve's going to have to do something.
I think Epic might run out of money before that happens.
Possibly.
Uh,
Uh, Although, Tencent owns half of them, and
that's true.
that's a lot of backing.
Yeah.
If Tencent is serious about cornering that market, which I would not be surprised if that was the goal. Um,
Yeah,
we'll see.
I didn't even think about that. And Tencent is is actually the largest game publisher in the world just
Oh yeah.
because of its China operations. Um, and it's crazy to think about, and because we think about large publishers, we think about EA, Activision, you know, really those two, but Tencent blows them both out of the water, and
They
revenue
got
wise,
mad bank.
yeah,
They got Scrooge McDuck money bins of money,
yeah.
and it's all in Bitcoin. So, okay. On that note, let us close the podcast because I'm starving to death and I need to eat dinner. May actually go see John Wick 3 tomorrow. I haven't decided yet because the local theaters are just making the theatrical experience worse and worse every day. It's like every change they make is custom tailored to annoy me. Granted, I'm very easy to annoy, but
Yeah.
anyway, so Andrew Eisen here. Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube and you'll find my YouTube videos. Uh, and Twitter is at Andrew Eisen. So, Zachary, plug away.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night, where I talk about gaming and politics and other things that catch my fancy. If you're interested in my game development work, you can check out DK_gaming on Twitter and DivineKnightGaming.com. And if you're interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, check out OK Game Devs on Twitter and OKGameDev.com.
All right. You've been listening to Molehill Mountain, episode 145. Thank you very much, and we will see you back here next week. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
See ya.